Yeah. Morning, everyone. Morning. Thank you so much for joining in. This is the 24th edition of the Bread for Soul Convos with myself, Sir LSG. And today is a special day. It's my birthday, firstly, but it's also a special day because I'm hosting one of the people who, are anchors in our house music scene, like Master G, DJ GANYANI is a legendary figure. We know from the compilations, from the very first Simunye House Grooves, and throughout the GANYANI House Grooves compilation. And recently, Master G, we've seen him in recent years getting into production, releasing hit songs, and just keeping on going. And I'm very interested to find out how does somebody like just keep reinventing themselves, and I've asked this question to Master G, but I think we'll unpack a lot as we go. Also coming up later on the show, I've got a special performance because it's my birthday. I've got a special live performance by Bongim Vuyana, so look out for that towards the end of the show. But yeah, welcome, Master G. Thank you so much for joining me on this. How are you, sir? Okana Ngutle, Master G. I think there is a
The mic.
Can
you hear me now?
I can hear you. I can hear you, Master G. Fede?
Man, Kishapu no sharp.
Kishapu Braga. Hey, I know you are very strict, and I like that about you, because we are late, guys. Sorry for the late broadcast. Master G on some plan. Emuna, it's 2 minutes past 9. When are we going live? I like that about you because the discipline that you have shows, in your career, and I think it's one of the important factors for longevity when it comes to longevity in this industry. But I want to know, Master G, like, how did you get into the whole music thing, DJing and everything? How did you first get into it?
I think it's something that started at home. My mom and my dad were also into music, especially my dad. My dad had his own collection of music. He used to collect jazz as well as um, Tsonga disco music. I still remember his favorite track was Manembek. We used to say Makotu Jola Repair, something like that.
Yeah.
So even though he was not into DJing like myself, but on weekends, he would take his collection, to go play with his friends, and all that. Yeah. So I think it's something that started at home.
Yeah. But how did you then get into the actual DJing? Like, where did you hear about it, and how did you get into it?
Quite interesting. In 1980, I think it's 86, no, 88, if not 89. We never wrote our final exams in Gauteng because of, the youth uprising and protest and everything. So my mom always wanted me to focus on my education. So she sent me to Limpopo, where I did my standard 9 and 10. In our era, there was no grade 11 and 12.
It was from five.
So, for understand that. So I went to a boarding school in GANYANI, Malamulele, Shingwedza High School, where I met a couple of guys. There's this guy, Lloyd. He used to play this kind of music that I liked so much, and I never heard, And me being shy, I was um, it was a bit difficult for me to join the group that he was sitting around. But we later on became friends, and then we exchanged the music. Like we had this own collection of, we used to call it American disco back then, and I used to collect funk and R&B. So he liked my funk and R&B,
Was
and
this
then I
on tape?
liked.
Sorry, was this on tape, on vinyl?
No, it was on tape.
Okay.
It was on tape. Remember, there were no CDs back then. Do you understand?
Sure.
So, school holidays, I'll come back home, and I wanted my friends to hear the collection that I got GANYANI, you understand that. So, back in those olden days when you do your garden, you will play, you'll take out one or two speakers and then you play your music while you're still busy with the garden. And then, interesting enough, one of my neighbor, was listening, to the music that I was playing. His name is Ningo, and he had a Stockfell, and then he came. He asked me to come and play at his Stockfell. It was a 3 day Stockfell. It started on Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. And I stole my uncle's sound system. I knew I had the music, and I went there, and I never looked back since then. So, with a Stockfell, you have Stockfell members, you know. So some of the Stockfell members were also, they were impressed, with the music that I was playing, and they asked me to come and play at their Stockfells as well. So yeah, that's how it happened. And then some of the Stockfell members had their own shebeens and taverns. Do you understand? So they also wanted that collection of music that I was playing. So I started, not knowing, not being aware that it was illegal. And then I started recording the collection that I had and I sold it to them. And that is how it started.
Wow. So this thing of networking, it's not a new thing. It's not a new thing for you, Master G.
Yeah.
And if we get into your compilations, the Simunyi house grooves and Ganyani house grooves, how do you get those? Like, was it as you were growing your name as a DJ? How did the first compilation come about?
Okay. Interesting enough, my first compilation was not Simunye. My first compilation was In the House featuring DJ Ganyani.
Oh yes,
I released it with USM, if you still remember.
yes,
You
yes,
know,
yes, yes.
yes. USM, yes, USM approached me. They asked me to do a compilation for them. So I had to make a selection of the tracks that I liked back then, and then that's how it happened, and that's how I got that first release out, and then I think I actually got a break when I started working on the Simunya albums. With Simunya, the marketing that you get, the exposure that you get. I think that's where I started getting my exposure. Working with SABC, which was called Simunya at that time. So I think that's where I got a break. There's this other friend of mine. He knew a couple of guys at SABC. They wanted to do you know um, a compilation, so that they wanted to connect with the youth. Do you understand? So they wanted someone who was much more familiar with the music at that time. And then, fortunately enough, I was one of those people that was chosen, to actually compile the Sumunya album.
Sure, Master G. And you've once told me, I think when we first met back in 2011, 2010, you told me about how those compilations used to sell. Like, if you can just put it into context, like what units numbers were you moving in those times?
Well, uh, with Sumunya's Grooves One, I think we sold close to 30,000 units. And then with Sumunya's Grooves 2, that was the most selling one. We sold over 40,000 units. And remember, say LSG, I think the reason why the music had that kind of demand is because of, remember, house music, back in those olden days was never played on radio stations. You understand? So it was difficult for people to have access to that kind of music. So I think that's one other thing that helped us, push sales.
Hmm. Yo, and what I mean, like recently you've been releasing, you're still releasing albums, Master G. Like, but what have you seen in terms of changes with regards to sales? Has streaming really supplemented the loss in CD sales?
Not really. Not really. Remember, we are in South Africa, and things have become more digital, and we don't, and most of us don't have access to such. Do you understand? Hence, interesting enough, now, at Universal, um, my albums, we used to sell more physical, copies as opposed to digital stuff. The reason being, most of the people who used to support DJ Ganyani, are still a bit old school, just like DJ Ganyani. Do you understand? So they are not so familiar, to digital stuff, and some of them are a bit reluctant, to convert into such. Do you understand? So digital the digital thing, has got um, how can I put this? It has got its own challenges, and we've got its own advantages as well. Do you understand? It has made things easier for us now. We're no longer carrying those heavy vinyl bags and everything. But what has happened is, um, we have a lot of music piracy. People are not buying music anymore. Do you understand? So what I've noticed is, we have shifted from that analog era into digital now. Do you understand? So back then, you would have a single by Frank Knuckles, and you only have about 3 or 4 copies in the country, and then being exclusive clients at a record shop, you'll just get your copy and you'll play it for quite some time before other DJs can lay their hands on it. So that was interesting, because of it made a competition, more interesting, like if I knew I'm going to play, for example, at LSG's party, I know I've got 3 or 4 exclusive that no one has got. Do you understand?
Sure.
And it is such a nice feeling when you play a certain song and no one has got it. And everyone is, hey, Master G, where did you get that? Such competition. So there isn't that anymore. We don't have that anymore. Like everybody has got access to music. Well, it's not a bad thing, but we don't have that exclusivity anymore.
Mm, mm. And talking about parties, Master G, like your party, has grown through the years, and like I remember the ones Tsakodladle in Kosovo, like you used to have a host of people, and like what I like about you is that you mix up with obviously your peers, Kibo Vini, Bo Bravini, Bo Christos, and then you also mix up with younger guys like myself, Shimza. I like that about you. But what is it about your? Are we gonna see the Ganyani birthday party or like in a bigger scale, like a stadium kind of size in the future?
Unfortunately not. I would like to keep it as small as it is, I wouldn't want to go to bigger venues, the birthday party, this is how it started. Um, just like we have lockdown now, and everybody is sitting at home bored and nothing to do. It's the same thing that happened with my birthday party. We were just, sitting with the late DJ Slender and a couple of my friends. We were bored. So you know what, guys, um, how about we throw a party? You know, how about we throw a party? And then everybody say, yeah, man, Master Jimmy, now that thing can work. Do you understand? And then the first one was in December. It was not my birthday, but we threw our first party at home in Soweto, Maryland. In December on the 16th, yes. And then the following year, said, no, it's my birthday. You understand? Let me rather organize something here at home. That's how it started. And it grew. And then that's when I started, getting calls from beverage companies, to come on board, to sponsor me, with a couple of drinks and what. And then, yeah, that's how it started. And yeah, we never looked back since then.
Sure, sure. I think I like the intimate parties too because at least you can do whatever you want and the DJ culture there is so so hectic. Even though there is no that exclusivity of songs, but you know when DJs come to your party, they make sure they make sure. I was a Mickey
Yeah, no, that's true. Yeah,
Sure, Master G. And before we go further with this interview, can we you and I agree on one thing? Ne?
yeah, sure.
The weekend that has just passed, Master G, the weekend Kaiser Chiefs would have been crowned the champions of the PSL. You and I agree on that. We have to agree so that re kgone go tswela pele.
No, 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 no. We won't agree on that one because you look at the record, yeah, yeah, Kaiser Chiefs, ne? At some stage, Kaiser Chiefs nearly they got 22 points, ne? And now the gap, say linear now, ne? So you guys are now leading Sundowns got only 4 points, and Sundowns has got a game in hand, and Rona as Orlando Pirates, ne? We've done you guys a favor, ne? Release a bit Sundowns first round, 1-0, and you want us to beat Sundowns for you. We can do it because of we are family. You understand? But I honestly speaking, besides me being an Orlando Pirates supporter, I think you guys um, had a very good start. I think you lost it along the way. Do you understand? And honestly speaking, I don't see you winning the league. Eh?
You know,
I don't see you guys winning the league. I
you
mean, like recently you lost to Amazul, a coach that was a team that was coached by a maleness. Come on, Sir LSG.
but you know
Come
what? You
on.
know what? Like COVID, I guess we might never know. You know, because of this whole COVID thing. But I truly believe that Chiefs were on the right track. But just getting into the your relationship from a brand point of view, what's your relationship with Orlando Pirates?
Look, I used to be a resident DJ, yeah, yeah, Orlando Pirates. I used to play go get going at Pirates, especially the big games, the derby. You understand? And at some stage, I was a coach for the celebrity side, yeah, Orlando Pirates. So, like Kadi derby, Chiefs versus Pirates, you would have a celebrity team, yeah, Pirates playing against celebrity team, yeah, Chiefs. Wabona, the goalkeeper ko celebrity team ya Chiefs nearly fresh. Wabona, fresh didn't know the rules. Aba mo sheba ka ball back na e tshwara ka letsogo. And they will be penalized and were able to score. And the strikers are one nearly Buga love. On our side, our goalkeeper was DJ Cleo. Our midfielder nearly Atama Fukat, Buma Papuzi. Do you understand?
Sure.
So yeah. So my relationship with Paris started when I was contacted by the late Zodokos, and may his soul rest in peace, to come and entertain their fans, whenever they were playing, So that's how it started. And then I became their resident DJ.
Mm. I love that, Master G. And one thing that I like about you is that you've over the years always reinvented yourself. You built your studio. I remember in 2010, like you were building a production team, the Family Gathering, and you released 2 albums from that. But you've continued, to really release your own productions, and they've done so well, Master G. What is it about you that has kept you so relevant in the game?
Look, it's two things, Sir LSG. As much as it was a challenge, to adapt, to changes in the industry. Remember, I think the introduction of YFM, I think it was in 1992, if not 1991. You understand? We had Speed Garage that was dominant back then. For me, it was a bit too fast. Do you understand? And because of that, we decided, with a couple of DJs, to slow down the tempo, the Speed Garage. And most of these Speed Garage was at 45 BPM. So what we'll do is already converted to 33, and then that gave birth to mid tempos. You understand?
Mm.
So I think what kept me going in the industry was my ability, to adapt to the changes in the industry, and that's number one. And then number two, um, if you've noticed, most of my hit songs, were with unknown artists, unknown vocalists. Do you understand? So um, I've always been one person, who has never been shy, to take risks. I always give up and coming talent, an opportunity to express themselves. Do you understand? If I have a certain Sir LSG from Mokopane, who says, Master G, I produce house, and this is what I'm capable of. I will always give you a chance. I will listen to the stuff that you are you are producing. Do you understand? I will give you an opportunity to express yourself. If it works out, it works out. If it doesn't work out, it doesn't work out. So my willingness, to always give opportunity to new talent, has always kept me going. So those are the two things: my ability, to adapt with the changes in the industry, as well as working with new talent. Because of these guys are so creative. Do you understand? The only thing they need is proper guidance, discipline, and so forth. So if you take an experienced DJ, or if you take experience and then you mix it with creativity or new talent, it becomes a success. Do you understand? So yeah, so I think those are the two things that kept me going in the industry.
And Master J, also, what have you seen? Because you have kept going like this, but what are some of the things that you've seen that artists do along the years that break or kill artists' careers? And not enable the artist to kind of carry on a long term career.
It's discipline. It's discipline. It has always been disciplined. I think you and I can agree that we have seen a couple of guys, a couple of talented guys, who made it in the industry and then they just disappeared, just like that. Do you understand? For me, it's discipline. I don't think most of us are not disciplined. And another thing, it's education. Not formal education. Like at school, you will have different kind of students. You'll have those that are gifted, you'll have those that are um, uh, banaling that thing, yabo athlete, wabona.
Mm.
And you have those that are creative, like your vocalist, your artist and everything. Do you understand? But then now we all have different talents. And if we have Sir LSG, who is a good DJ and a very good producer, do you understand? That thing also needs to be turned into business. It's nice for you and me to be getting gigs, and then we get paid. But what happens then when you get paid? What are you going to do with that money that you're making out of DJing and production? Do you understand? So I think it's lack of education as well. It's discipline and lack of education. If we can get a proper guidance, as to what we're going to do with the, the money that we're making from gigs and from record sales and everything. Do you understand? Because you need to invest in a way that in that days that money should be able to sustain you. So I think another thing, it's comfort zone. I think I was also one of um, the people that were affected by that. Being in a comfort zone sometimes can kill you. Do you understand? So you must always be thinking of other business opportunities, besides what you are currently doing, like being a DJ and a producer. Do you understand? Investing in other businesses, because there will be days whereby creativity will just disappear, just like that. Do you understand?
Mm.
And not all now, hey, you go into the studio, so LSG and Akukopani, anything now, do you understand? And you're not able to come up with very good songs. Do you understand? So, but now you must have something to fall back on. Do you understand? So, I think we we need to have more of workshops where we educate these youngsters, where we educate these talented producers as well as artists, as to how do you turn your career into business. Do you understand? So I think those are the things that really affect our industry, and it's not only the music industry, even Lugo Bolong, in soccer, the same things are happening, and it's not a good thing. Do you understand? I mean, look at guys like Justin Bieber. I mean, he became a superstar at a young age, and he's still there. Do you understand? It's because of proper guidance, education, and so forth. So I think if we can focus more on um, turning our careers, into business. Do you understand? Music business is very important, to sustain us. I mean, you look at what is happening currently now. This thing, Corona, and in lockdown. A lot of us are struggling, and some of the reasons why we are struggling is because of we didn't save enough. Do you understand? And I think we depended too much on what we're doing, like being a DJ and being a producer or being an artist. Do you understand? And nothing is happening now. So this is the right time now to look back at what you managed to accumulate throughout your career, and the kind of investment, do you understand? So yeah, I think those are the things that are killing our industry. But the main thing is discipline.
I agree, Master G. And I like you touched on a lot of important points, and for one, I'm a fan of artist development and proper development, like when you talk about people learning how to use their finances. And it's a sometimes because it's something what people talk about a lot of times. We don't get to really see the seriousness of it. But guys, if you're an artist and you're getting gigs, like it's so easy to go buy the latest sneaker, to go buy the latest car, and without thinking about the future. And what I like about you, Master G, what you've also done, you've also invested in a new studio, which we'll get to later. And I'm actually excited because after COVID, but we'll talk about it later. But I
Sure.
want to get to this point. Yeah, there's a voice note that I got for you. If you can just give me a moment so I play it for you.
Yo, what up, bro? What up, bro? Yo, it's Timoga. Let's say, I hope you guys are good. Um, basically, starting from the top, starting from the beginning, I came to Josie because of Master G, and he had one of my remixes go Facebook. One of my friends, Omusendezi, one of my remixes go Facebook. Then it happened for Master G. Abang sanela inbox la ko Facebook back then, way back then. I think it was in 2011. Yeah, somewhere there. So yeah, he asked me to come to Joburg and get spanele, just to span on production, and yeah, I took time to come. Then basically I came to Joburg Kabuma 2013 la. Then yeah, that's when I came to Josie and stayed with Master G. Yeah, and ever since then I've been mentored by him and getting my sound the way it is now. It's all of because of his directions and his production skills on how to tackle some things in studio and all that. And yeah, just improving my skill set in a way. So ever since I came to Joburg from Maftown, yeah, I've been with Master G, and we've been making music ever since. So the journey has been long, and until now, we've been and we're still doing it. So yeah, big shout out to Master G for always being there for me and all the time, and to many more music to come. I mean, like, yeah, we're still making more music, and he'll tell you more. I think he'll tell you more about future projects. But yeah, we're still making more music. So yeah, thank.
Sure, Master G. Sure, Master G. That was Dimogol, say, a homeboy of mine from Mafikeng. And I've seen this, you doing this a lot of times, Master G, ever since I met you, actually. From the time that I met you, you always had guys, in your space. You always had guys, Papa Hospanelang, and, they would have so much respect for you. But what is your view with regards to mentorship, and what is it about this boy that you decided to put him under your wing?
Um, I'll be honest with you, Sir LSG. This is what I always say to Demogan. Demogan has been one of those young stars, disciplined. One person that never gave us problems. GANYANI Entertainment. And if you recall, a couple of years back, he came up with the hit "We Batla Guy," and throughout, that era, yeah, We Batla Guy, Demogal never became big-headed. He attended all his gigs, and he never gave us problems. Look, we all want to grow. Growth will always be, in our minds. Do you understand? But do it in a way that you don't step on anybody's toes. Do you understand? For example, Sir LSG, if you were to work with us, obviously you also have your dreams. Do you understand? You also want to grow, as a creative. So if you see yourself beyond GANYANI Entertainment, there's nothing wrong with that. All you have to do is to sit down with us and we have a chat. Master G, it's been great years, of a musical journey with GANYANI Entertainment, but now it's time for me, to focus on my solo career and something like that. I wish all guys could do that, as opposed to when you've got gigs, you don't attend them, you switch your phones off and all those things. Do you understand? This is one example that I usually discuss with guys. Like you look at Dr. Kumalo, for example. He has been with Chiefs, I don't know for how many years. Do you understand? And when he gets Spani somewhere else, he goes there as a Span, he goes back to Chiefs. Do you understand? You'll have a couple of players, soccer players who will play for a certain local team, and then they get the overseas opportunities. They go overseas, they apply their trade, go overseas, you understand? And then the contract they expire at that side. They come back to, some of them, they go back to their local teams they used to play for before. Do you understand? So those are the kind of relationships that we also need to learn from, as creatives. Do you understand? So big ups to the Morgan for being loyal to GANYANI Entertainment, and yeah, in terms of grooming, say LSGH, that one is a challenge. What happens with me is at first want to listen to your production. Do you understand? If there's something that I feel we can work around, then I'll be able to work with you. If there's nothing, there's nothing. Do you understand? So if you send me like with the Morgan, I was approached by this guy called, I think it's Machismo, something like that. Yeah. He inboxed me on Facebook. I remember in Mafikeng, I think staff size kavalana your style of music. And I said, no, please send me his stuff. And then I still remember the first um, songs that they sent me was a Mikasa remix. No one had that remix. I was the only person who was playing that remix. Then I could tell from that no, this boy, there's potential. Do you understand? There's always been potential. So that's how I discovered this talent. So I listened to I asked the guys, what do you have? Have you got a song or two for me to listen to, so if you send me something that I feel I can work around, then I will invite you into our studios, and then you do a couple of things. You look at DJ Clock, for example. you know I met Clock in Durban. He came to my hotel room with Chinaman, the KZN Chinaman. We were just chatting with Chinaman that day, man. I'm looking for talent and what. You know, and then Clock said, "No, man, Master G, I'm game. I'm willing to come work with you. Is it? Are you serious? Yes. Okay. So I didn't know. I thought DJ Clock was based in Durban. Only to find out it was based in the East End. And when he came back from Durban, he called me and said, Hotman, I'm back. Do you understand? Clock who were fast.
Yeah. Yeah, sure.
Hotman, I'm back. And uh, and at that time, he looks like someone nkarong chance. You know how these boys, they like selling themselves. Like the inbox sack these days, like a lot of them. Hotman, I've got a song. It's a hit. All of them. It's a hit. All of them. So I ended up asking themselves, what is a hit? Eh? What is a hit? So I just sent Clock my address. I sent him the address. You know what touched me, Clock? I sent him the address, Sir LSG. Just the address. I sent him the address. Within 2 hours, Clock nalgo gating da kozazenda. From that moment, I could tell how hungry Clock was.
Sure.
It's hunger, and the love of what you're doing. You understand? If you have that, say LSG, then you can overcome any hurdle that you come across. Do you understand? The hunger, the passion and the love of what you do. Do you understand? Clock, within 2 hours from the East End, public transport, Nalgo gating. So I was building Kanako, like Lalaka, Eco Hill the crane. So I said, you know what, boss, I'm leaving. I'm going to Rodiport now, and um, um, Blomako studio, and then I'll see you when I come back. And he said, no problem, Krutman. And I left Clock studio. And when I came back, Clock had a song.
Sure.
When I came back, Clock Nasainte a song, a very nice song. You understand? So this is how we discover talent. Do you understand? Yeah, that's how I discover talent.
Yeah, I
So
love
even
that.
with vocalists as well, the same thing. They send us stuff, we listen. What we've noticed is most vocalists are struggling songwriting. You understand? They need um, to be guided. You listen to a song and you write some proper lyrics, but it doesn't end there. Even local studio, when you record them, they still need proper guidance. That's where our vocalists are struggling. We've got so much talent in the country. Do you understand? Hence, I said in the beginning for him, they just need proper guidance. Do you understand? Wabon. So yeah, that's what happens. This is how I discover talent, and we're still looking um, um, for more talent. You understand? And especially songwriters, um, very good vocalists. We are still looking for such.
And I hope that if people are watching, whoever is watching, yeah, you heard it from the master. If you are a singer songwriter, if you're good at what you do and you wanna try your luck, Master G has just said it. And Master G, I wanna ask you about the new studio. Because you've spent some considerable amount of money, building a studio like this. These studios are not cheap. They cost a lot of money to have them sounding the way they do. The equipment, the wiring of the studio, just the general building of the studio. Why was it important for you? And this was built last year, but why was it important for you to build such as a big state of the art studio in such a difficult time for music? And I mean, this was before COVID-19, but I'm just talking about music sales. What is your vision going forward with Ganyani Entertainment?
Look, a couple of things led to me building a studio. Remember, our first studio is in Soweto, for Mirrorlens. You've been to our studios in Soweto a couple of times. We had challenges. We were not able to attract these high-profile artists and vocalists because of the studio being in Soweto. And somehow I understood why these guys were a bit skeptical to come to our studios in Soweto. It's because of the reputation that Soweto had back then. Never trouble, their cars will be hijacked, they might be killed, or their cars will be stolen. They never felt safe to come to Soweto. You understand? But besides that, the main reason for me building this studio, it's I've always wanted to have a fully equipped studio, a proper studio, with proper vocal booth. Do you understand? And then the soundproofing and everything. So this is something that I've always wanted to have. Something that I've always wanted to own. Do you understand? So that is the main reason why I built the studio. So it's gonna make things easier now for us to work with those high-profile, artists and vocalists and everything. Do you understand? But the main thing, it was always a dream for me to have a fully equipped studio, a state-of-the-art studio. And here I am today. I've got something that I've always wanted to have, and then and I'm looking beyond the studio now. The studio is here now. It's I'm looking beyond it now. I'm looking forward, to working with different vocalists, and so forth. So, but the main thing was, it has always been a dream for me to own a fully equipped studio, a proper studio like this one.
I love this, Master G, and I know because I've been to different studios across the country. There's nothing that can replace a good sounding room. I mean, I work from home in my living room, and if I can just show people, so the roof that I have here is something that it was installed by a friend of mine. They do sound acoustics, and I can see obviously Master G with the state of the art studio, you do sound acoustics. But I wanna just advise anyone, if you working from home and you don't have the money to kind of build a big studio, especially at once, you could start small, especially by improving the way your room sounds at first. That will improve your production so much, because you will listen better, you will hear things better, and you could do other things. You could record, because when I was doing my album, everything I was recording, um, I had to hire studios, so I had to pay money to hire studios to record everything. So if you wanna invest in something as a musician, as a producer, you don't have the big budget, start by investing in your room. Master G, I want to ask you about. Oh, I wanted to say also before I carry on. I wanted to say that I see you as a big record exec, and I see you as somebody who's able to pull different artists and different producers, and really grow Ghanaian entertainment. And I really wish you all the best with that, Master G. Honestly saying that. There's this thing, Alona man, legends. You guys have hung together for such a long time. Why is it so? How actually? How does it happen? Because like you see relationships, some no, we don't like you've got somebody's friends with somebody now. 2 years down the line, that man was Kenya or whatever. But with you, Vinny, Christos, Bob Maben, I've always seen you guys like have this brotherhood. What is it about your relationship that keeps you guys going?
Well, I can't really tell, exactly as how this thing started, but we've always been supportive. We always support each other. And this is something that I wish could also happen. With the up and coming generation and things like those. For me, in any industry, you need more friends than enemies. Do you understand? Yes, for some of us, rivalry differences, but we sort them out. Do you understand? And I don't know, it's something that has happened naturally. It's not something that we sit down and discuss that guys you must be there for each other and something like that. It just happens like that, like I if I need something from Vini now, I can call him now. And then, hey, Mandango. By the way, me and Vini and Christo, we call each other Mandango. Hey, Mandango. I mean, I've got this idea. I mean, what. If he's able to assist, he will assist. Do you understand? So, it's something that happened naturally. I can't really explain as to how it started and everything. Like Oskido, for example. Do you understand? There's something that I wanted from him last week. I sent him a message at night, like around 11 o'clock to see. Do you understand? I say, Oskido, please advise, because Oskido, is always busy. Please advise who are available in phone and everything. Instead, he's the one who called me. I got 2 missed calls from Mosquito and said 2 missed calls, and then I called him back. Mosquito, man, so. Within 5 minutes, Nasangailo, whatever I wanted. That is how we roll with the fellow legends, So it's something that happened naturally. Christos Liana, same thing. I contacted him last year. Hey, Christos, you go so. And he was there to assist, So it's a spirit of brotherhood, and it has always been there. And for me, I think it is something that happened, like naturally.
I love that, Master G. I love that so much, and especially the point that you started with, Yahore. Yes, you sometimes will have differences with people, but it's important to also, how to just come back and say, hey, tomorrow that thing is also wasn't cool, and that can also revive the relationship, and then sometimes like you see, obviously not all relationships are meant to carry on forever, but there are some relationships which have ended over small things, over a small thing which could be fixed by just picking up a call. Hey, time fit man. So I love that you mentioned that point, Master G. I just like we're nearing the close of our chat, but I want to ask you, you used to visit me here, Ozwakala Muhona, Master G, and one thing that I liked was your collection at trans, I love that you next thing Master G Shapakai, Kausa no Shapakai, so and I enjoyed that because with Spaniards, when somebody worked for something like that, I like seeing that. But there was one time I was so stressed. Yeah, guys, so Master G Shapel around this boy flete mo drunk guy reverses his car into Master G's car. Oh my goodness, the embarrassment I had. I'm like, oh my god, this boy won't see it. But I just wanted to ask you about your car collection, without saying what you have, but out of your the Transita, how Master G, out of your fleet, King, which one is your most favorite to drive?
No, all of them. And speaking of that incident where that boy reversed Koloa into my car, and can you believe because of that, his dad called me, and the time ne, we became the best friends
Yes.
with that boy's dad. You know, the father called me and he wanted to know her damage is wrong, like he wanted to assist, Kadita was fix the car. And I said, no, it's okay. Because it was not, um, the car was not badly damaged. Do you understand? I said, no, it's fine. Do you understand? And then he told me of, his profession. He sometimes does photography and everything. Understand? And I had a function at home, and he came in and got the pictures there. He gave me pictures, everything for free. And we're still friends as we speak. But
Sure.
yeah, these things happen, man. So LSG, and it was not your fault. And that boy was just drunk and everything. Understand? Yeah, but with cars, I love all my cars.
I know. Thank you, Master G. I know. If you look back at your career, and you've had highs, you've got a lot of highs in your career, and I'm sure you've had some lows as well. But if you look back at your career, what are you most proud of? With the being in the music industry.
Well, the guys that I helped, break into the industry, and along my way, I have discovered, a couple of talent. Do you understand? And I'm still looking forward, to discovering talent. You know, even though some of this talent that we discover, we have differences and all those things, and I don't see that discouraging me, like I'm still willing to go out there and discover talent. Those are the things that I'm proud of. I haven't discovered a lot. I still want to discover a lot of talent, you know, especially now with the new studio. Um, and I think I'm saying this for the 15th time now that I still enjoy entertaining people. Do you understand? But the DJing side of it now is getting into me now because of the traveling. Like I travel a lot. You know, I still remember in 2012, 2013, and 2014, when I released my album GANYANI Groups 8, it was such a success that I was DJing almost every day, even midweek, say LSG. And I ended up in hospital,
Yeah.
and the doctor put me on and said, you know what, my man, you need to start taking it easy. You're not growing young, and you're not getting enough rest. And do you understand? I think I spent about 8 to 9 days in hospital because of that. You know, and ever since then I've been told to take things easy. So um, those are the challenges. It's getting into me now, like in terms of traveling. You know, so I'd like to slow down in terms of traveling. I want to focus more on studio production. I'm not gonna be completely lost. In the DJing side of things. I'll still go there, but I want to focus more on studio works now. And yeah, so um, for me to do that, I need to discover and identify a lot of talent. So uh, but that doesn't mean say LSG, and this one is important. Ne? When you go out there and say you're looking for talent, you're looking for songwriters, you're looking for good producers. Do you understand? It doesn't necessarily mean that even those, shower vocalists or one of the shower vocalists, you understand? Hey, those ones, but also good is, like you can tell this person cannot sing, and then people will point fingers at random for being rude, to some of these idols, contestants. Also, what? Do us a favor, get out of here, and what, because of this is serious. If you can't sing, you can't sing. Do you understand? We're looking for people who can sing. Do you understand? Do you understand? I'm looking for diamonds, even if they don't sparkle. Do you understand? I will help refine those diamonds to sparkle. Do you understand? But if Odlasia windscreen, no, please, man. Do you understand? So I still remember ka interview ya Pearl, where I said the same thing. We're looking for talent. We're looking for songwriters. We're looking for producers. Can you believe this? I started getting a lot of inboxes. These people are saying, I'm a songwriter. I'm a song. Just because of I said I want a songwriter. I ended up asking them, what is a songwriter, guys? They couldn't explain that to me. So just because of I said I'm looking for a songwriter, everyone says, no, I am a songwriter. Just like the other guys, Barbara, Master G, I've got a song. It's a hit. I think I got maybe more than 1,000 of such messages. Master G, hey, I've got a track, Master G. It's a hit. So all of them now suddenly by release the hit. All of them say lady songwriters. So guys, let us take our art seriously. When someone says they're looking for talent, they're looking for vocalists. We're really looking for good vocalists. Do you understand? It doesn't matter whether you've been refined or not. Do you understand? But if you've got a voice, do you understand? You understand? You know you can sing, or maybe you've been singing kokerekeng and everything. You understand? But you've been struggling, getting, a breakthrough into big things, and something like that. We're looking for such. But what we're trying to say is, if you're not a vocalist, you are not a vocalist. One, don't send the audio clips. Take a langwa. Understand? We're looking for people that can sing because we're going to compete there. Understand? One, I know it might not sound okay to some people, but it's the truth. Do you understand? We are looking for people who know what they're doing. Do you understand? Have like Uta maybe from background is sing sharp or high and everything. But if you've got the voice, you've got the voice. You understand? If you've got the talent, you've got the talent.
Nice one, Master G. And I do agree. I must say to people that it's always nice, guys, that when you know you are working, when you know that you've got talent, and talent, people might say that it's subjective. I feel like if whatever it is that you're doing, if you say you're an R&B singer, take your stuff and compare the stuff to other R&B singers who are out there to the best.
Exactly my point.
Put it next to the best and say, here's Ayanda Gia, here's me. Where are you? Are you at the same level? Can you get to that level? If you are not that yet there, it doesn't hurt, guys, to work on your talent. It doesn't, like, there's nothing lost. There's no time lost in working at your talent to get better. This thing, Yahore, you wanna get into the scene, while you're there, you'll get better. Yes, you'll progress, but it's very important that when you approach artists, especially established artists, that you are sure that your stuff at the right level. Let's keep it like that. And Master G, I want to ask you, if you had the power to change anything about or to influence anything in our South African music industry, what would you do? What would you change?
That's a difficult one, eh? I will change the way in which we look at the industry. You understand? The industry is not all about beautiful chicks, flashy cars, and so forth. To understand, I will just adjust the attitude, the mindset, you know, of creatives, to look at this thing as a career. To understand, yes, we need money. I would like to drive a Rolls Royce now one day. To understand, but that shouldn't be the only thing, that inspires me to work. Do you understand? I will just, if I had the powers, I will just try and change the mindset of the creatives. To look at it, to look at the music thing as a business, as a career. It's not something, banyana and all those things. You understand? So, yeah, if I had the powers, I would do that.
Nice one, Master G. And my last question to you is that is there any, I mean, you are big on learning, and I guess for you to be able to adjust and adapt to any changes in the music industry, you have to constantly allow yourself to learn and not tell yourself or cover everything, which is the mistake that I see a
Yes,
lot of people make, that people think
yes.
that they know the industry in and out, so they can't learn from anything or from anyone. Is there anything is there anything with regards to making an income as an artist that you've learned that you didn't know before, like, or oh, actually most re kgona go ira zaka through music?
Ish, that's it's a very important questions. Especially with guys like ourselves. Pelaruna we started DJing more than 2 decades ago. We understand, and the only source of income we were looking at that time, we understand, was uh, charity gigs. You understand? You go play and get paid. You understand? Ngobon, and then Master G akere yana ka mo na na le botsotsi ba o rekisa di cassette. You understand? Ngobon, that is, and then lo hire a sound because I ne ka hire a sound before. Wa bona that thing. But what I've learned ke gore um that is not the only source of income when it comes to music. You understand? You've got a couple of things besides the live shows and everything. You understand? Like you you're collecting societies, Bo Sambro, Sambra, Capasso, and so forth. And those are things that even there's still those artists that ignore such things. You understand? And the other thing again, ki ditaba tsa endorsement. Wa bona that thing, you understand? You can always, if you have a good song out there, you can always send it, you can always sell it to any company, for the endorsements. You understand? And then as well as being a brand, visual, we understand. You can always use your image, like, or your influence, to generate some income out of it. One other thing, and then what else? Yeah. But those are some of the things that we learned, like, and since probably this thing here is social media, you understand, you can always use your influence for social media, to generate cash out of it. As you look at YouTube now, if you've got a really happening video, if you post it there, you get the viewers and everything. You understand that? You can generate cash out of that as well. You understand? So those are some of the things that you learn along the way. And honestly speaking, we learn every day, Sir LSG. We learn until we die. Do you understand? And you don't only get education from your peers. You can even get, you can learn from someone far younger than yourself. Do you understand? You can learn from someone who's older than you. You can also learn from your colleagues as well. Do you understand? So I'm saying we learn every day, and if you're always prepared to learn, if you're always prepared to listen, you'll become a better person.
I love that, Master G, and it
Mm.
resonates with me so much. On tomorrow's show, I actually have someone who's a Tsapodi Seko. He's a music supervisor, and this guy has seen deals happening between artists, songs, like from a music point. So he's seen deals, Katsadi brand, taking a song and linking that song to a certain brand for a certain campaign, and he's seen how much money he actually oversees some of those deals. So I think whoever is watching this, and if you want to learn regarding that, if you're a producer and artist who wants to learn how to actually maximize the money that you can make with your music, tune in tomorrow at 9 with my thing with Sepodi Seko. But Master G, I want to say thank you so much, for sharing your knowledge and experiences with us.
No, man. And yeah, thanks for having me, and thanks to everyone who watched these interviews. And without you guys, there wouldn't be Sir LSG, there wouldn't be DJ Ganyani. So yeah, we value your support. Thank you so much. We've got a project underground. It's not house music. It's something that is very inspiring. You know, soon you guys will know about it. You know, the only thing that I can say is, together we can stand. That's part of the lyrics. Together we can stand.
I love this so much. I can't wait, Master G. As soon as you know, as soon as you are ready to release the info on this, please let me know. Then I can push it on this show as well. I'm very excited about that.
Together we can stand.
Together you can send, Master G. Thank you so much.
Yeah. Voila.
So guys, yeah, thank you so much for watching. Please share the video. Please tag somebody who might learn from it. I've got a special performance right now by Bongim Vuyana. I hope you guys will enjoy it. And yeah, let's stay creative. Peace out.
I can be tall as trees, roots so deep, have birds that sing, arms so wide, branches thick. I could carry you and stick. See, I could carry you and be greater still, stronger till in the sea I learned to swim to the shore, open doors, bring the storm right to the floor, bear the earth to the sun, let them know my time has come. This is me and I will be all you thought I'd never be. That's what I used to be, used to be, used to be. That's what I used to be, used to be, used to be. That's what I used to be, used to be, used to be. That's what I used to be. I could see more in me, felt the wind, and I could breathe, found my voice, oh, I could speak, found my peace, now I can be, found my peace, now I can be greater still, stronger till in the sea I learned to swim to the shore, open doors, bring the storm right to the floor, bear the earth to the sun, let them know my time has come. This is me and I will be all you thought I'd never be. That's what I used to be, used to be, used to be. to the life that makes you happy. This is me and I will be nothing like you thought I'd be. This is me and this is me and I will be nothing like you thought I'd be. This is me and this is me and I will be nothing like you thought I'd be. This is me and this is me and I will be nothing like